Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sedona International Film Festival. I'm your host, Carol Kahn. We are celebrating our 30th anniversary, and with that, I'd like to thank our presenting sponsor, Northern Arizona Healthcare, along with all of our restaurateurs, hoteliers, volunteers who year after year support the film festival. Thank you very, very much. And I would like to introduce to you Derek. And Derek, I'd like for you to introduce your film.
When Unfettered, yeah, a short film called When Unfettered, about a kind of a humanoid AI that learns to feel. It's always hard to talk about this because it gives away
Yep.
the ending of the film, but it's about a humanoid AI that ends up kind of learning to feel love and emotion when she befriends a group of special needs children.
Awesome. And how did you come up with the whole concept?
Well, my partner had been working in this. I wish I could explain what he actually does, but I can't. He does a lot of like Photoshop type stuff for AI companies, and they were kind of bringing back the woolly mammoth type thing and like doing all this stuff online, and he wanted to explore this idea of of AI, and I said, well, most of the time when we watch any films about AI, it's always about the absolute negative portions of what's going to happen when there's like a robot in the future. And I said it would be cool to show one that when it's kind of tossed away, it learns to actually feel love and emotion, and it can actually be helpful for us in some capacity. And we just kind of went with it, and then added a dog and kids, all the things that they tell you not to film.
Right.
We were like, we're gonna do that during COVID. So,
So this was actually made during
well,
COVID.
we wrote it in 2018 and 2019, and then we were gonna start shooting it in early 2020. Then obviously COVID happened, and then early 2021 when things got a little bit safer for us to do, and especially with the kids, that there's a lot of kids with physical disabilities in it. We were like, we got to shoot this thing, and so we shot it in, I think, May of 2021 is when we actually ended up shooting most of it, and then we had a bunch of stuff to do in post afterwards and reshoots, etc. It was like a long process.
Right. Well, it was interesting because this morning we started talking about like where are we going to be in 10 years from now for our 40th, and we were just like joking around saying, well, in this chair we could have someone that looks like me. That's AI. So, and I'll just
Yeah.
be back there or whatever asking the questions.
No, and it's a unique thing now too, especially since like in the industry, so much of what we're kind of battling and what the strikes were was about artificial intelligence in general. So now we've made this film where we're like, it's not that bad, and then you're like, it's really bad. Like AI's terrible, and you're trying to figure out, the nuances of it all.
How do you really feel about it, like AI? What's your thoughts?
I'm, to be honest, pretty uncomfortable with a lot of it and like how fast it's going. Um, you know, I think I'm less concerned about the things like an actual robot, like walking around, as I am about whatever, like some random machine being able to mimic my voice to perfection. That's a little more scary to me.
Yeah.
I think the way that I think about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, and even just as a writer, being in a day to day profession where I've seen, like, of course, I know it's in its nuance if you want to say that, but, watching how information is being pulled to deliver out, which is not necessarily correct. Like, if
Yeah.
you're trying to write something, and so you almost have to do research on top of like what that is to make sure that it's correct, and I don't really like that. That's like my thing, as well as the voice. I don't
Yeah,
like that
and it
either.
is making a lot of mistakes right now. Like a
Yeah.
lot of the AI is doing things wrong, and then you're getting this information that you think is correct, and then you're like, wait, this is wrong, and you've gone. Anyway, we don't have to
Yeah.
delve deep into this.
Our personal conversations. It's okay, everyone out there is a voyeur listening to our conversation. So you do have a trailer for the film, so let's take a look at that and we'll talk some
Sure.
more.
He has passed.
We may not need your services shortly. And I know you took walks. Is that something you and Dad did?
It's unnerving how real you are. You know, you shouldn't just go up to kids at the park.
so well done. You know, at first, when I first saw the film, I wasn't sure that the person was an AI person. Like I
Right.
didn't know that. And then sort of following it around, I began having emotions of like how people were treating her.
Yeah.
And so then it kind of got me mad, you know, that just my emotions about like how can people be so insensitive to something like that, and especially you know when you had the children in there and involved, and she related to them so well. It was
Yeah.
just like a wonderful sort of connection that you would see, and you wouldn't expect that from someone like that was a robot, more or
Yeah.
less.
I mean, that was the point, and I kind of harkened back when I was writing it. I wanted to add more of the like, like my little bit of just like my family's immigrant past, and it's like I wanted it to kind of be about that. This is just kind of an analogy for people who are just different, and she's just a different thing right now. And even people who have special needs children, like the mother is the one who kind of pushes her away. It's like it doesn't really matter where you come from. We all have these kind of prejudices, and that was kind of what I wanted to add to the whole mix of the film. And I kind of used the dog because dogs tend to be this thing that can really recognize humanity so well. And or like I don't know about you, but if a dog doesn't like me, I'm like, uh-oh, something's wrong with me. Right? And if a dog doesn't like a friend of mine or something, I'm like, then I shouldn't be friends with that person anymore because the dog has a better understanding of what it is to be human. So I wanted to add as much of that stuff in as I could, and hopefully, hopefully people saw that, but I don't know.
So, in doing something like this, because you just explained that you know your family are immigrants,
They
is
were
that correct?
immigrants.
Yeah. So, and then having those kinds of emotions, do you feel like putting together a film like this, and maybe even just watching it back, is that healing for you to see? Does that actually help you in your journey of life, or
That's a good question. I don't, like since I wrote the film and have watched it so many times, it's hard for me to say like, oh, I watched my movie and I'm healing now because I think about all the other things that came in with it. But I do know that other films and TV shows that I've watched, I do feel a little bit, like you watch something and you're like, I'm glad somebody is saying something like that. It,
right?
it needs to be said, and it doesn't have to be like really in your face or anything, but just every now and again, you're like, cool, thank you.
Well, I think films, and I love this too, have this underlying message. And, you know, if you're astute and you're actually watching the film, some people get it, some people don't get it. But I feel like in many instances, you get out of it what you need, like what's
Yeah.
happening within, right?
Yeah, and it's the time in your life that you watch something. It's like every form of art or music that you're listening to. It's just, there's songs that I listened to 20 years ago and it didn't really affect me that much. And then now I listen to it and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I gotta go and cry. Yeah, so I think that's one of the things that draws so many of us to making films in the first place.
How long have you been making films?
Oh, man. Like on a professional level, about 15 years. Um, in 2005, I made a documentary, which I would not call professional, but that was kind of my first thing. But I mean, I was making films in college, and I made some in high school, so I've been practicing. And then now, my, full-time job is I'm an assistant director in film and TV, so I've been on 1,000 film sets or commercial sets at this point, and you know, just being able to watch how other filmmakers work is also very helpful. So I've been learning for 15 years, as I would say, like from professionals.
You'll always be learning.
That's
Always,
life. You
I know,
have to
right?
keep learning, or you stagnate and then you're just
Yeah.
nothing.
What is like one of the biggest lessons that you have learned from filmmaking that you may have learned from observations?
From observations of other people making films, or just
Your work, like, you know, you as an assistant director being involved with different films, what's like one of your biggest takeaways?
learning
from...
to adapt. I mean, you're filming in the real world most of the time. It's not like you're always on a stage or in like a studio lot. And so when you're filming in the real world, everybody around you is, they don't have to get out of your way so that you can make a film. You're in their house, you're on their street, and you just have to consistently be aware that no matter what your plans are, something may change, and sometimes that's a happy accident. But it really is I think the thing that I learned the best was how to adapt very quickly to
Mm-hmm.
something, and that just comes with experience of seeing others do it, or your own experiences. Um, I don't know how to say that any other way other than to say, like, you have to adapt as quickly as possible, and be confident in the way that you do adapt. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned.
Awesome. Well, and how can people find out about your film?
They can, well, soon it'll be online for everybody to watch. They can definitely come tonight to see it at 7 p.m. at the Sedona Film Festival. We've got season5films.com is our website, so you can look and learn about it there. And then we're also on Instagram at Unfettered.
Awesome. You did a great job.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. So it's nice having you here, Derek. Thank you for bringing your film. I know we'll be seeing you around the film festival, so, and I hope you enjoy Sedona while you're here.
Oh, we will. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will be back with more in just a minute. But first, don't forget to follow us on Facebook Live throughout the day and hashtag SIFFSIF30. And we'll be back with more from Sedona International Film Festival.